Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Books NYC. You're watching episode 13 of your favorite Batman show, Gotham City Chronicles. Tonight, we're covering Gotham by Gaslight, and I'm joined by my co-host, JP's Budget Collecting. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, everyone. I am doing good, man. I am officially working from home.
There you go.
So as of today, we got the
welcome to the club.
Work if you can, and so will leave my house, I guess, to walk the dog.
There you go.
That's gonna be like so yeah, excited to be trapped, but at least you had something to read. So there you go.
There you go. All right, and joining us tonight are our special guests, Solgr Only and Fusha Only. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Doing good.
Hey, guys.
Good indeed. It's been a day.
Yeah, so Fusha, you're working from home, but Solgr, you're not, right?
Which is really weird.
Yeah.
He'll leave in the morning without me, and I'm like, wait, no, come back. And he's already gone.
Yeah.
And then by the time he gets off of work, he's home, and I still have like an hour left of my shift. So he'll just go into the room and read while I'm taking calls, and it's weird working from home.
It's the best reading time too, because it's interruption free.
You get me being quiet for a good hour. Well, I'm still talking on the phone, just not talking to you.
It's definitely easy to get distracted while working from home. I can attest to that.
It really is.
Like there's good things about it, but it's also you can go.
It was really weird. My first few calls on Friday, it was like talking to strangers in the comfort of my own home. I'm like, I don't like this. I like talking to strangers in a stranger place. Like,
right.
So now it's like that they're calling in. I'm like, please just get off the phone.
For me, it's the opposite. Like I'm talking to a lot of people I do know from like the actual real life office or other offices and whatnot. But we're doing it like through Zoom or whatever, like these like online. So it's almost like this, like doing a YouTube show, but like for like a work meeting. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're on a webcam the whole time. So it's been interesting.
They don't have us on webcams, but they do have us on Microsoft Teams in the floor chat.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Teams. Yeah, I'm aware of that stuff too. We use that and Slack. So
you can just hear them. You can't see them. And
I can't see them. I can only hear them.
All right, so we got a shocking 5 people, no, 1 person in the chat.
One person in the
Bird
chat.
family.
Well, there are a couple of things going on at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of streams going on right now, and also I've been told that not everybody's getting my my channel. What's it called?
Notifications.
Yeah, notifications. So
yeah, YouTube's all screwed up.
So that's a bummer. But thank you, Steve, for hanging out. Steve's Gotham City Chronicles alumni. We were just talking backstage, trying to remember what story we did with Steve. I think it was Court of Owls, right?
Court of Owls is what we decided. That's what was a part of. So.
Let's dive right into Gotham by Gaslight. You have the creative team of Brian Augustyn and Mike Mignola. So I'll be honest, I haven't read much of Brian Augustyn's like body of work. Like it's not a name that I call to for like a huge body of work that I'm familiar with. Mike Mignola, on the other hand, I am very familiar with a lot of his work, and I'm a fan of his work. What are your guys' initial thoughts on this? So this was a one shot, right? This was a one shot.
Originally, it was a one shot.
Originally a one shot, and what do you guys think? I'll let you guys get the conversation started while I say hey to some folks that are trickling in here. Comic Don's in the house. Steve says he did get the notification. House to the End is here. What's up? Sam I Am's in here. And Bake's in here. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by.
Yo, Bake. Thanks for joining us.
He also says that he has this one. It's a cool concept. I think it's a cool concept, too.
I would agree with that. Definitely a cool, like, different take, like going back to kind of Victorian times. I thought it was an interesting take on Batman for sure. So
like it with the Jack the Ripper kind of mythology and stuff too, and which I've read a lot about on that in and of itself too. And I mean, for us, we actually saw the animated movie even before ever reading the book. And I like we said before we went live, like I really want to go back and watch the movie again, because from what I remember of it, it seems like it was really different.
It does seem like it was completely different, but there's like maybe one or two times where it kind of seemed, because it was still that Victorian time era, but I do really like how they mixed in Jack the Ripper with it.
Yeah.
So, but it has also been like over a year since we saw the animated, so
it was a while ago. Yeah.
So this first page is that like kind of like opening monologue or whatever from Jack the Ripper, right? From hell. I'm not sure by like who by Robert Flock is in that context. Do you guys know?
I do not. I was hoping maybe somebody else understood where.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, but I really do like the sort of the Mignola art style, like the vibe that you get from these like opening pages. That basically it's a redux of the Bruce Wayne origin story,
right?
In the late 1800s, right? Let me see if I can get There you go. So
they actually kept that intact to the Batman story because it's so essential to Batman himself.
Yeah.
I'm glad they interpreted it.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I think that was a fun, like, interesting way to go on and like pull it into that time period and like change it a little bit because they weren't in the city and it was just kind of a band. Yeah, I like the way they went about that.
Once they got to sort of like, present in this case is like 1880 something, right? Like 1889. Once they get to present day, it's basically like, Bruce Wayne hanging out with Alfred, and then him sort of preparing to journey back from Europe, right? Back to Gotham City. And to me, this was, I guess we could skip around, I guess, talk about, we'll circle back and specifically talk about the art, specifically talk about the plot. But when his uncle Jake was introduced, I kind of wondered, like, could he be involved? Like, because a lot of times early on in Batman stories, when somebody's introduced, I always like have that person in the back of my mind while I'm reading the whole story. Like, what's their involvement? In this case, that panned out.
Especially a character like that, because I don't think I've really seen him in anything else.
Exactly. So okay, they're introducing this uncle character. Like, that must be for a reason.
And I'm thinking, like, is that like on his father's side or mother's side too? And I was like thinking specifically too. And
he was just kind of an uncle in that he was his father's friend, not like a real uncle, but I felt like that was kind of a giveaway to what was happening because we didn't introduce any other potential character.
Antagonists. Yeah, exactly.
Antagonists. There were no other options for Jack the Ripper, like to be the antagonist here. Right. It was this guy, and then nobody else knew. There was nobody else.
Right.
Like,
usually, like there's a lot of like exposition early on in these Batman mysteries. You know what I mean? Like where you're supposed to solve it, and you can kind of count 4 to 5 different potential suspects, if you will, for Batman to suss out. In this one, there was really only one.
And that to me was the weakest part.
There was a ton of characters, Yeah,
it's not going to be Alfred or Gordon, the main ones. It is just that would have been a real trip.
It was interesting. It was interesting when they kind of went back through the sort of the Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, his I guess like he I guess wasn't happy with the fact that she was with him and whatnot, and that like started him down this like dark, evil path. I did think that was well written and well thought out and well explained.
Yeah, like his motives and stuff. Yeah. I really like that part too.
I think it was well told. I feel like it needed to be longer so that they had time to introduce other options. Like,
I agree with what
was
Sam
almost
I Am
too
says.
short.
Yeah.
Like
Look
it
at
was
Sam I
too-
Am comment. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It did feel kind of like Thomas Eliot's intro in Hush, where
Yeah.
you could kind of like, what's the word? Telegraph it that it was going to come. Like you could see, you could kind of foreshadow like that he was going to play a heavy role in that story as well.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, Sam. I hadn't thought
Yeah, it
about
really
that.
is.
Yeah, that's very similar because there's really like, oh, there's a new bad guy, and let's introduce this one new character, and that was kind of what they did here as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about? What do you guys think about the art?
I love it on it.
Yeah, the art was good.
I love it.
I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Especially, like right from the beginning.
It had a lot of those like yellow tones in it too, and
it has an interesting color palette. It really
I
does.
liked that because it like not quite steampunk, but kind of steampunk type color tone. So I like, but there was still the blues and stuff. But I enjoyed the art. I thought it was done pretty well.
I liked it. I thought it was kind of had a Mignola in the style of Mazzucchelli or Miller like vibe to it to me, like with some of the panels, especially like any panel that involved bats, like literal bat animals, like in the distance or in the background or whatever. I also think like the way that he like projects like Batman like leaping in the air and stuff is very effective.
I was just on that page. Yeah,
that's a great panel right there. Overall, I think I'm pretty. I was pretty happy with the art, and there were things that were reminiscent of the Mike Mignola covers that he did in Death in the Family. He did all those covers for Death in the Family, and some of those are like hit or miss. Some of them look like he's like intentionally making the character to look kind of like ugly. You could argue, like kind of like a funky looking face or whatever, like an exaggerated kind of face, but I think it worked because you're literally transporting yourself into the late 1800s here. So that I think the unique look of the characters added to that like believability, right? Like this image of Batman right here, like I love that. Look at that.
Yeah, I love that.
That's one of the best panels I've ever seen. It's incredible.
Yeah, I love the design of the bat costume and everything too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for me, Mignola is always a little bit hit or miss. Like, it can be really, really good, or like I don't like it. Like and it's almost no in between. For this, I feel like this is very suited to what the story is. Like his style and what he does here really works for this throwback 1800s. Kind of Batman Elseworlds thing. I think it just really works with the story they're telling, and the time period that they're telling it in is. So for me, like this is like one of the Mignola things I like the most that I've like looked at, just because I think it fits so well.
Were there any character designs you didn't like? Like I thought Gordon looked pretty like you could imagine him.
He looks identical to Roosevelt.
He does look like Roosevelt.
But it fits Gordon though, like what you would imagine it kind of be
there
in the 1800s.
The one thing I will say is I do feel like and it's mostly like the haircut and stuff, but I feel like Alfred and I guess other than the mustache, you can't really tell Alfred from Uncle Jake. Like in a lot of panels, if they're like and like Alfred doesn't really, he just kind of blends into the background, which he kind of does in this story anyway. He doesn't really play a very major role.
There was that one scene where like it was Gordon went to the mansion to see if Bruce was there, right? That one.
Yeah.
Trying to find where that is in the story.
Yeah, I had to read that scene a couple different times because
me too.
It was like that second detective or something.
Yeah, but it was where is it at? It's I don't know. It doesn't have page 22. But
page 22. It's like he's like, Inspector Gordon, and Gordon is shadowed, right?
And then Uncle Jake is there also, and
Right.
very confusing scene. Yeah.
It's that is probably the most confusing scene.
Well, and
in
then
the book.
Gordon was also not Gordon. I just forgot. Alfred was even worried about Batman being okay with him searching the household. He's like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. I already took precautions."
Right. He hid the suit.
He's being set up with the murder type, like the knife there that they find, if I remember right. But yeah. So then that just kind of led to like, okay, it's an inside job. Somebody.
Right.
I do think the only other there's a couple things that are a little confusing the way they're laid out in a couple of those scenes. The other thing that I do like occasionally, like my other minor complaint is I do feel like Bruce's face, particularly early on, like when he's with Dr. Freud and when he's on the boat, the ship coming across, is a little inconsistent. Like he goes from this like very chiseled look, like if you get in here, like right there, and then the very next page, he's like this, like I don't know, like both, like that's both Bruce. And like,
there's a stark difference between those two.
So there's some inconsistency there, just in his face and how he's portrayed throughout. And I feel like it carries somewhat through the whole story a little bit. But I mean that's.
Yeah, I mean I didn't so much as notice that while I was reading it. Yeah, I only noticed that because you pointed it out. I probably wouldn't have even noticed. I do enjoy seeing like all these like old timey like newspaper headlines, and things like that, and like these kind of like interstitial images throughout the story. I mean, I think that really adds. Yeah, exactly. Like, is Batman a killer? I use one of those as a thumbnail.
Yeah, that one
for this. That's the one I used for the thumbnail. I think that really adds to sort of just the setting, like putting you in that place of.
And there's some really good, like, in addition, like, to the newspapers, and then just some really good still images of Batman, like, chasing criminals and jumping.
Yeah, every time he leaps in the air, those panels really, like, work well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, this pages 16 and 17. Yeah.
What's up, Sharon? Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, Sharon.
Hello. Thanks.
Yeah, this really would be awesome. Like, if it would be awesome to see this story in like a 5 or 6 issue, kind of mini thing where you could
develop a little more.
Yeah,
because it's like 48 pages, and that includes like a closing splash page, a few other splash pages that don't have much dialogue on it, right? And so you're really talking about like 35 to 40 pages of like meat and potatoes on this story. So it's a pretty quick, it's a pretty short book. It's
could have been a little more intricate. It definitely could have been a little more intricate.
And I guess they tried to do that. I know you guys didn't read it, but I guess they tried to do that with this whole second story called Master of the Future or whatever, which had the same writer, but unfortunately it didn't have the same art team, and the art was just horrible on it, and in my opinion, and the story honestly was horrible on the follow-up as well. It was like all about this, like, what is this, like this giant fair that they were putting on in Gotham City.
Yeah, they were going to like a World Fair,
and some sort of, I don't know, French villain or something. Like, I don't know.
It didn't really make it didn't make sense. And then there was this random thing in the middle, like where the villain like sends this like Joker robot thing to like shoot at people, but he's not meant to be the Joker. It's just very odd. Like there's this clown thing. You're like, oh, are we gonna get like a Joker thing? And no.
Right. And I guess this was the cover for that story.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I feel like I wasted my time reading that second story.
I do too. I did not like the. Yes, the cat is making noise.
Hey, Mark Knapp 68.
I did not like the second story very much at all.
I got into that point, and I was like, okay, I got to go to my mom's to do laundry. I'll get back and I'll read the
This
second
is the best thing about the second story. I'll show it to you guys right now. Okay? The last page, because the story's over, and that's the best piece of art
That is an excellent. That is a.
This is an excellent splash page, but the rest of it is hot garbage. So, not Gotham by Gaslight. Just making that clear. Master of the Future.
Master of the Future.
I didn't feel that
But
strongly.
if you get the trade, you're going to get both of them. You get two stories.
Exactly.
You get the follow-up that does not have Mignola art. It has.
But it exists in the Gotham by Gaslight, timeline or universe or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's like a sequel. It's kind of.
It's a sequel, kind of, but it's a totally different story. It just takes the same Bruce Wayne and the same Gordon and the same Tolliver. Tolliver becomes mayor, and so he was the commissioner. He becomes mayor in the second story, and then Gordon becomes commissioner in the second story.
Yeah.
So
Eduardo Barreto. I've never really heard of that guy.
Eduardo Barreto. He's the artist on the second story.
I don't know that I know anything he's done, and if this is the caliber of his work, I can see why.
Yeah, I mean, I bet somebody like J Hood or somebody more smarter about like all eras of comic artists would know. So, but I am curious to like kind of like see what else he's done, because I do really like that last final splash page.
Yeah, that last page.
Is pretty awesome. So,
what was that the rest of the book?
Exactly. Yo, what's up over easy mode? Have not seen you around. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Ruben Nieves, good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So I mean, what else? I mean, we kind of went over the art. I mean, as far as the writing and the story goes, like I was pretty satisfied overall with the backstory, but like, sort of going back to my first point of the only having sort of one character that just came out of left field towards the beginning of the story kind of made it easy to predict that he was going to be Jack the Ripper to me.
Yeah.
I
felt like, to me, that was the biggest weakness of the whole thing. Is that
agreed. Yo, Patrick Wall.
And what Fusha and Solgr said earlier about like it would have been better as like a 4 or 5 or 6 issue mini, like where they could have like developed and had some other options for like to like make it more of a whodunit for the reader, because it's not a whodunit for the reader.
No, it's not.
That who it's got to be like early on, because it's the only real option in the story, unless they're just going to go, oh, here, random guy.
Right. Well, I was kind of thinking it would end like without him finding out. You know what I mean? Like I was almost expecting an open-ended kind of ending.
I think that would have almost been better. Of like he figured out a way to prove his innocence, but he didn't catch the Ripper.
Exactly. Sam I Am nails it again. It was a bummer that it was not a true detective story. It could have drawn out how Batman figures out.
It's like a game of Clue, because if it had more people to choose from, and then it's like,
because they did have some nice kind of detective moments where he even says like how he studied from all the like great minds of their time, and like how the book even started with him talking to Dr. Freud in Vienna. So like he was traveling Europe, probably meeting with and studying under all the greatest minds of the time. And
I do agree though with what Sam I Am says, because Batman's known for being the greatest detective. You would think there'd be more detective work in it.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a weak excuse, like how come I didn't pay attention to Jack the Ripper when I was in London for all those weeks? Yeah. Like, okay, like you're supposed not to care. Okay, that was a little bit of a lazy cop out.
D-Rock.
No, what's up, D-Rock? Okay, so to recap, no, we're not doing that.
There's not too much to go over on this one, because it is just a really short story that it felt a little short.
Story. I do think it's one of the more easy to read, enjoyable Batman one-shots that I've ever read. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like it's a true collected storyline that has like multiple issues in it. That's what we usually cover on this show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, here's a full storyline. This is definitely more of that one-shot kind of feel, and then they put out a bad sequel basically, and that's kind of the story.
A bad sequel that didn't really have hardly, other than it's the same universe, doesn't have anything to do with the original story.
I guess Over Easy's throwing some shade at Brian Augustyn, says it takes a good writer to write a good detective story.
And he's not wrong, because because you gotta you have to set up enough with it that it makes sense when you do the reveal, but without giving it away. It's not an easy balance to walk. And I think if it was it's going to be Uncle Jake, if you just had some other potential options, to have even a little bit of doubt would have helped the story a lot, in my opinion.
Oh, yes.
You had more options to choose from.
Yeah.
Oftentimes.
What I did think was cool about it was to to just the general concept of reinterpreting a Batman story for a different time period. I would like to see 1920s Chicago Prohibition Batman. I would like to see 1960s hippie flower movement. I mean, I guess Batman was written during those eras. So I could just go look back at older issues in the Silver Age or whatnot in that case. But the 20s, we didn't have Batman. So I think there are other cool time periods in history that I would like to see
20s,
a Batman story.
This Batman's Dark Knight Returns kind of days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that would be a
post-apocalyptic future Batman, but it would be cool, a 20s.
Well, that's what Year 100 is kind of like. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, Prohibition Batman.
That would be fun.
That even sounds like a name of a book.
Prohibition Batman.
Get on that, DC.
I know, huh?
Black Label 2022.
There you
Prohibition
go.
Batman. Mad Max Batman.
Yeah, I would like to see some more of this from this kind of timeline though, some more stuff.
Me too.
That second one wasn't the best, but I think there's still a lot of good stories.
There's still a Batman origin story to tell. After his parents die and how he actually becomes Batman in this timeline that hasn't been told.
At first, it was his return to Gotham and kind of, starting it. But when he got back, he already had the suit.
No, when he got back, it was I had left this alone for a while, but now I'm ready to do it again. And it's okay.
Sam, I have that would be badass.
Oh yeah, well, Sam, Sean Murphy's got his own
he's got his
universe
own universe now, but But I feel like there's room that they could revisit this with a different writer. The concept here is solid. It just needs you could ignore the second storyline and just revisit this Batman and this universe, and you could have the right writer could have a lot of fun with this and do some really cool things.
Oh yeah, I jealously want this to be part of the Sean Murphy verse on DC Black Label. That would be awesome, but I don't know what direction that's going in just yet, and the current story hasn't even finished, right? So
D-Rock, Solgr Fusha said they had. I have not.
I have not. I'm curious to watch it though.
Yeah, we did see the animated movie.
We have it. We watched it when we first bought it. Last year.
It was right around the time that we moved in, and I do remember watching it, but it did seem different than what happened in the book, but not by much. It just seemed a lot different from. It's hard to tell because it has been over a year since we've seen it, but I know
I could be totally wrong. It could have been the exact same, and maybe.
Yeah, because I remember watching the show, so even as I was reading it, I was trying to picture some of the parts that happened in the animated movie, and some of it was there, and some of it wasn't. But I still haven't seen it in over a year, so I can't really compare the two.
Yeah, I want to. If it's on the DC Universe app, I'm going to have to, add it to the list and check it out.
I know.
I haven't seen Batman Ninja. There's some people are chatting about Batman Ninja in the chat also.
Yeah, I heard that wasn't that great, so I never even viewed that one. So
what's up, Alberto Pinedo in the house? What's up?
Hey, Alberto.
We have quite a bit of the animated movies, but.
We still need to get Hush.
There's a lot that we need. Yeah, Hush is the one. Yeah, I know.
Hush is the only animated series we haven't seen yet and need to get. But
I haven't seen that either. I heard that there's some controversy or there's some specific story things that they changed or whatever that are controversial, which kind of makes me intrigued to see it actually. And I'm wondering why I haven't yet. But is it if that's on DC Universe, I'm going to definitely watch it.
I think it should be
during this quarantine
I think they were kind of putting most of their animated
stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Count Von Strange in the house. What's up, man?
Hey, come on,
Welcome.
Strange.
Hello.
So, what do we think? What's our overall feelings about this?
So D-Runk says he hated the Hush movie.
I'd give it about a 3.5 out of 5, just because it could have been a little more interpretive to different. It could have been a little more like
a little
intricate,
like deeper, and
especially going off of the Jack the Ripper myth.
Yeah,
because like Jack the Ripper, you always hear that mythology all the time. I feel like it could have been a little better, but I still enjoyed the read.
right.
I mean, you could tell Brian Augustyn definitely like did his research into the Ripper mythology and stuff too, because I mean, like I said, I've read up on that stuff a lot, and I mean, he didn't get like too deep into it and everything, but you could tell he at least had did some homework.
In the basics.
Yeah, I mean, based on the era around when this came out, he was probably given like an assignment, like you have 48 pages to work with, like you're getting a one-shot project,
Yeah.
and like he didn't have like the creative freedom to like just do whatever like Sean Murphy has today.
When did this come out? Do you know?
It came out late 90s?
Late 90s, I thought, but
yeah.
I'm just trying to remember.
Well, it says in the back.
I'm
looking.
2006.
Oh wow!
Really? I didn't even know that it was that late.
You would think it was in the 90s.
Let me confirm that on the internet here.
Yeah, because there's a.
Are you sure it wasn't just like the reprinting in 2006?
I mean, that could have.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, because it says originally published as Gotham by Gaslight, an alternative history of the Batman and Batman Master of the Future, copyright 1989-1991.
Okay, yeah, so
that's right.
Probably 89 then, yeah.
And I think the first time it was collected like this was 2006.
Yeah, that's got to be it. 1989.
Okay.
That was the original. 1989 was the original publication date.
Yeah.
The only Batman I read is the Frank Miller Dark Knight and Spawn Batman. Well, Frank Miller Dark Knight's a good one.
No, he did pick a good one.
Yep. But yeah, definitely got to get you caught up. Sam and Sam says, since I never watched the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie based on your review, I'm not checking out that. Yeah, that's a movie that just should be skipped.
So,
yeah, we didn't see that.
I mean, look, I would give it a similar grade range. I don't usually do the best out of 5 in my head. I usually
kind of place it on our list.
We kind of place it where we rank it on our list, but I would probably give it the same grade score as you guys. I don't know where I would put it on my list. Do you have the list handy, JP?
I have the list. I haven't put this one on here yet. And this is not my order. This is the order we've done them. So
right. This is the order that we've covered all these stories. We started with Year One, went to Long Halloween, did Hush, Court of Owls, White Knight, Death in the Family, Mad Love, Black Mirror, The Killing Joke, Gotham Central, Harleen, Earth One, and now Gotham by Gaslight. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably put it somewhere towards the bottom of that list, but not at the very bottom. Like I like it more than I think Mad Love. I like it more than I like probably even The Killing Joke. Honestly,
yeah, me too. Well, you know how I feel about The Killing Joke.
Yeah, we know you don't like it. What's up, Hero and the Kid? Good to see you guys.
I would put it
kind
of in the range of like maybe slightly behind A Death in the Family, like right in that kind of range. I feel like it's definitely behind it, because it's just not developed enough to be great.
Yeah, I prefer Death in the Family to this particular story.
Yeah. So like, I'm just trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to reorder them again. So those are like the 5, 6.
I mean, at the top of my list is Year One, probably number 2 that we've covered. I'm not counting stuff we haven't covered. Okay.
Yeah.
Top of my list is Year One. Then it's probably Long Halloween.
Yeah, me too.
Then it's probably Court of Owls, then it's Hush, then it's probably Black Mirror or White Knight. I kind of interchanged those in my five.
Those are my top 6 as well.
Yeah, so those I interchanged those, and then it's Death in the Family leading the pack of like the bottom half of the order, followed by followed by Harleen, then Gotham Central, then Earth One, Mad Love, or Killing Joke, then Mad Love. So I would put Gotham by Gaslight like right below Death in the Family, so on my list, which makes it what, 8, 7 or 8
or 9, yeah.
Yeah. So
I would have Year One, Long Halloween, White Knight, Court of Owls, Hush would be my top 5. Black Mirror would be 6. Harleen would probably be 7 for me. Gotham Central would be probably 8. I would probably put this slightly ahead of Earth One, so this would be like 9, Earth One, 10.
And I have it in that 8 or 9 slot.
Yeah,
you know.
And then where did I put Death in the Family? Maybe Death in the Family would probably maybe go in front of it too. So yeah, like 9, 10. And then like the ones that are behind it for sure are probably Earth One, Mad Love, Killing Joke. So yeah. I think it has I think it had a ton of potential. It's a really enjoyable read. It's just not enough for me to
It doesn't hold up to like how like deep some of the more modern stories and satisfying with some of the more modern stories are, or even some of the classics are. So it falls in between those from like a satisfaction level story wise. I love that comment from Patrick Wall. Just remember, any Batman story is better than any non-Batman story. D-Ron says Death in the Family has his 2 favorite panels of all time. Not even close. Novamad 1966 has joined the party. What's up, Novamad? And Alberto says his LCS might shut down soon. Sucks. Yeah. I live in New York City, so there are no more comic shops open. And Diamond just announced that they're not delivering new comic books starting April. So I think this will be the last week for new comics
for a while.
For a while, every publisher will probably make their own decision about what they do in the interim about like digital. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that all shakes out. What's up, Biggie Shack? Good to see you, brother.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it just got announced like a couple hours
today,
ago.
like this afternoon.
Yeah, it's pretty fresh info. Ruben says LCS is doing books tomorrow instead of Wednesday. Yeah, basically, as soon as they're getting the shipments, they're okay to sell them. So it doesn't have to be on New Comic Book Day. And this will be the last week, of new books, basically.
Yeah. And Patrick Wall's talking about. That's basically our complaint.
Yes, exactly. That was the first, 5 minutes into the show. It was like, as soon as they introduced the uncle character, I was like, is he the killer?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, the plot yet.
Yeah.
So, Over Easy Mode is asking me where I live. He lives in Queens. I live in Brooklyn, but Queens. Very cool. Nova Mad says all non-essential is disposed.
There you go. I give him close to it. Little Darwin Cook.
Yeah, I love that Darwin Cook one.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, show it again.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, Mylar Magic.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous.
So.
Our LCS has still been open and everything, offering car side pickup and everything.
He's gonna write it. I like it.
Patrick, hit me up, man. I'm down to read it. The Roaring 20s Batman, Boardwalk Empire meets Bat. I'm all about that, man. I love that idea. I mean, I guess I sort of came up with the idea on the fly, but you're fleshing it out already. So go ahead, go write it. Yo, Bueller. Good to see you, brother.
So I don't know. I think we've.
I think we pretty much covered everything we could talk about as far as this story goes. It's definitely a quicker one, and I'm glad I read it. I don't know how many times I'll be going back to the well on this one.
I know. I read it twice because I read it like a week and a half ago, and then I reread it tonight right before we did it, just to kind of refresh, make sure I had everything fresh in my mind. And I don't know that I will go back to it anytime soon. Like,
I know I'll probably watch the animated series before I read
I might.
it.
I would probably.
I will watch the movie and do a little quick comparison, but that'll be the end of that. What's up, Rob Wurst?
Hey.
Hey, Rob. Yeah, it would be cool to even see even just the same creative team, have a longer shot at it, 6 issues or something, or even that.
Forbidden Planet is closed, as is Midtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My shop's still trying to hang on, but yeah, they're basically. I mean, everything's going to close if Diamonds. I guess they can still sell older, their in stock stuff, but they're closed to people coming in. So you'd have to know exactly what they had and what you wanted. So
yeah, Solgr, sorry, what were you saying to me to cut you off there?
Oh no, I was done. I was just saying it would be, I would be all right even with just seeing the same creative team, with 4 or 5, 6 issues,
Yeah, me too.
Because what they did do with 48 pages was good,
I agree.
It's gonna be sad that there's no new comic books.
Yeah, right.
I know I still have a lot to catch up on, but some of this stuff I'm reading.
I know I'm like 5 weeks behind on reading comic books, but
I'm so far behind on the Sandman universe. But I mean, there's some other titles that as soon as they come out, I'm like, I read them before I read anything else. So.
The only book I'm fully caught up on is Sean Gordon Murphy's Curse of the White Knight. Yeah, that's the only book that I'm like fully up to speed on. And,
wait, when's the last issue of that come out? Is that this week or next week?
I don't know. It's one of these weeks. I think it might be this week. I gotta finish that story. Yeah, I gotta finish that story.
Yes. I'd hope it's this week for your sake. It's like even Daredevil's been so good though, so I'm like, no new stuff. It's gonna be an adjustment period.
I mean, yeah, we do have a ton of stuff to read that we haven't read, but
still.
But yeah,
I like what Bay's saying, that he's like trying to learn stuff. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to learn, to read, to catch up on things. Knight of Khonshu's in the house, and he says White Knight is this week. Okay, so it's coming out. Rod woke up. What's up, Rod? Welcome back to Awakeness. Junior Jessiroli Savignon Perez. I hope I did that justice. Says hello, my friends. Go my new channel. Now on YouTube, but my tablet something. Okay, cool. Well, I will.
I'm guessing English isn't his first.
I will check the chat replay and make sure that I'm subbed up to Junior. Thanks for stopping in, man.
Yeah.
Rod heard
Daredevil.
Yeah, that Daredevil series.
It's been so good, and that's the one series that I'm up to date on. Like every time it comes out, I'm reading it. It's one of the first books I read, and now I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
the anxiety. I don't like it.
I know, huh?
Well, just make it stop. Let's all go back to normal. Like everything's good.
We'll get there. We'll
get there.
Yeah. We'll get there. I mean, it is. I think in some of these areas that are considered hotspots right now, it's like, including where I am, it's like a little. It's people are. I think the every day that goes by, like the attitude of people is like changing. You know what I mean? Like, and because like the fear kicks in and everything. So, it's an interesting, definitely interesting.
I mean, like I said, the sooner everybody kind of like separates, hopefully the sooner we can get back to normal. And that's
exactly. It's,
if everybody would not be Florida, it's just like, or everyone that's there, no offense, Florida guys, but you guys have been on the news a lot for your people not doing what they're supposed to, which is not
notorious for having the Florida on the news.
Yeah.
Well, I heard people in California were doing the same thing, like freaking young people, like going to the beach, like this last weekend. Yeah. So
I was watching one of my daily shows, and it just. Some of the kids, they're still going down saying that they just turned 21 and they want to celebrate spring break, and it's like This isn't just for it's for everyone's safety. You know, like you can still get sick at the beach.
Bake's getting defensive.
Per capita crazies, you Florida rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
D-Rex says that he and John partied hard in Cali before he flew back.
Yeah.
Even though he flew back early.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
There's a lot of that too, yeah. So, but.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything you guys want to promote while we wrap up here? Anything you want to mention?
No, we just have our regular Saturday show, Married with Issues.
Saturday, hopefully Saturday. This past week we ended up doing it Sunday instead of Saturday.
Yeah.
But we'll probably do it Saturday this coming week because I work Sunday. But yeah, we just have that Saturday show and we'll show our pickups and see what's going on then. But other than that, I don't think we really have anything.
You,
Been popping in everybody else's chat, especially since like we've been home more, so
yeah,
a little bit. But
When we going, they're crazy.
Yeah, I've created like a few different like home improvement projects for myself while I'm trapped inside. So hopefully I'll get some of those done. You know, I don't know, but what about you, JP?
Well, I'm hoping to have something show up and have an unboxing at some point this week, and I don't know. I may just go live at some point just to have human interaction.
Right, and I know the unboxing is a special unboxing, and
it will be a special unboxing. The guy who took the TV didn't tell me he had asked for a signature, so I didn't know to be here. So
yeah, so send me that link because then we'll be Grail Bros, I think, after that a little bit.
So
yeah.
we do have, that reminds me, we do have a delivery that's scheduled from in stock that's supposed to be here Thursday. And one of the things I'm most excited for is going to be a trade that I'm giving away in my giveaway here soon if I'm still able to do it. But it's supposed to be here Thursday.
Yeah. So mine was supposed to be here today, but yeah, I didn't know it was going to be a signature. But I've rescheduled it for tomorrow. So hopefully, since I'm stuck here working, that I will get it tomorrow. So
I actually I bought a boom arm, a real microphone, like some production software and whatnot. Like,
nice.
I'm gonna do a couple pre-recorded videos. I think soon.
You're getting all fancy
with like production quality. Like, I'm not teasing like Bear Island level like production quality, but like more production quality than I am known for. And I want to see how that goes. I don't know. I may just do like audio only podcasts also, and try to set up a podcast feed or something like that. But I don't know, because like I used to work in the studio side of the music business like early on in my career, and I had like my own studio and everything. I was super into using all that equipment, and then once I left LA, I like abandoned it entirely because I just started from scratch, here in New York. So I never bought any of that equipment again to try and like create. So I'm gonna try to do that, especially when I'm stuck inside here. I don't know.
So,
guys, appreciate that.
I don't know. While we're hanging out here, I guess I'll put it to the chat. If there's anybody in the chat that's got a story they want to be on a future episode of Gotham City Chronicles they'd like to be a part of, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. If you like reading Batman, that's really the only requirement.
Yeah, you're a Batman fan and you got something you want to put out there, let us know. We're always looking for something. And we may, I don't know, with us doing a lot more reading and stuff, we may be more prevalent with these. We get the right story and stuff. So do this a little more often, maybe. We'll see.
Definitely enjoyed being on the show with you guys tonight. So thanks so much for having us.
Oh, yeah, awesome. We love having you guys on.
Yeah,
we'll have you guys on again, I'm sure.
Have you guys on, so we're glad it worked out.
D-Rock, always pushing his agenda.
No, I don't know what, yeah.
All right, love you guys in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for showing up here tonight. I know it's a busy night on YouTube, and it's a dramatic time for everybody. I hope the show brought you a little bit of entertainment, comfort, distraction, whatever And I hope you guys stay safe. And we'll see you on the next one. See you guys.
Have a good night.
Later.